I was telling you earlier about my medical problems and stuff, and I've been having a lot of trouble with my HMO, and I had to change urologists because I was having issues with the old one, and I dropped off a urine specimen, and I came back later and asked him how it was, and he said it was bitter. So I'm not going to go back to that one. You guys ready for your next comic? Okay, well, next comic coming to the stage has been around for a while. He took a brief hiatus and then came out strong and heavy, and then took another hiatus, and then came out like gangbusters. He showed up here, and the rest is histoire. Put your hands together for Steve Guentner.
Give it up for Mike for putting this great show together. Thank you very much. Thanks for all of you for coming out tonight, supporting us comics. It's great to be here in Tustin, or as the realtors call it, Irvine adjacent, which that's where I live. I'm a 64-year-old nerd, and I hate getting old. It's terrible. I had to stop 3 times on the way here from Irvine tonight to go to the bathroom, and that was just backing out of my driveway. I mean, it's terrible. So there's an app for anybody that's concerned with this issue. My biggest problem, I'm a traveling salesman, and my biggest fear is getting stuck in traffic and then getting that urge and not being able to go or know where the closest restroom is. So there's a new app. It's called the P app. You can download it. If you're driving along, you get that urge, you just press the little yellow icon, and it'll tell you all the closest restrooms within 5 miles. So yeah, you should look into that. Yeah, it's a problem. So my wife said, why don't you go to the urologist and see if there's something you can do about it? So I went to the doctor and told him my problem. He said, you need to stop eating and drinking 3 things: coffee, alcohol, and spicy foods. So I went home, and my wife said, so what did the doctor say? And I said, there's not a damn thing I can do about it. So, my wife and I recently celebrated one of her birthdays. We went out to the Morongo Casino. Anybody been out there? Yeah, it's a great place. They have a steakhouse in the top. It's one of the best restaurants, honest to God, I've ever eaten in. Really good, and nice view of the mountains and all. We didn't plan to spend the night. We didn't want to spend that kind of money. But I was kind of wishing they would rent rooms by the hour. You know, I know there's some places that do that, because it would have been really nice to go up there and take a nap. So we get tired at this age. I've been going to a gym, can you tell? Yeah. When I first started going, I met my trainer for the first time. He said, how flexible are you? I said, well, honestly, I can't do Tuesdays. Any other day of the week's fine, but not Tuesday. So I go to LA Fitness. Anybody else belong to LA Fitness? No? Yeah. It's a great place. The one in Irvine, they got everything. 2 stories, pools. They even have a room where you can leave your kids while you're working out. My 24-year-old hates that room. So that's good. My wife goes to a different gym, and she talked me into joining her and her trainer and people on a hike one day. So I showed up, and her trainer's there, and I said to her trainer, where's your husband? And she says, oh, he's home packing because we're getting ready to move. I'm like, damn, I wish I'd thought of that. I mean, how bad do you hate hiking if you have to come up with that excuse? I'd rather pack to move than go on a hike. That's pretty bad. I wore one of those Fitbits. I went home that night and I forgot to take it off. And I woke up the next morning and I had 43 more steps on it, which I think explains the barbecue sauce in my pillow. So, yeah. So the economy, the self-service economy is getting out of control, don't you think? We have to do everything ourselves. You know, the grocery bag thing now, you got to remember to bring a bag to the store with you when you buy your groceries. How crazy is that? So I was at Ralph's the other day, and I get my 15 items, and I'm in the express line, and the guy says, "You want to buy a bag?" I said, "No, I'll just carry them out." Thank you very much. I got 52 bags at home, okay? I don't need any more of your damn bags. The airlines, you know, I took a flight to Oakland the other day. I checked my own bag, I printed my own boarding pass. It was really actually pretty exciting because I'd never actually flown a plane before. People in the back were very excited. They found that out. I flew standby recently. I don't know if any of you have been in standby, but I'm standing there and I'm looking at the standby list, and I was like number 2, and then I'm number 6, and then I'm number 15, and I'm like, how are they changing? Why are they changing it, and how is it I keep dropping down? And I finally figured out what they're doing. The gate attendants looking at all the standby people and figuring out which ones are going to be least able to fight off an air marshal if they have to be dragged off the plane. And apparently going to the gym really is paying off, because I was like, oh, we don't want to drag that guy off. He looks tough. And you know, you get on the plane now, and of course after the safety announcements, what do they do? Oh, sign up today for your American Airlines credit card. You got great benefits. Your first bag will be free. You'll get priority seating, and you'll be the last one dragged off the plane. So, yeah. Let's talk about the news, a little bit of the news. Hurricanes. How many people are tired of seeing weather guys in the middle of a hurricane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Hey, here we are out in the middle of a little crowd. Just waiting for one of those guys to get picked up and lost and killed before they stop that nonsense. Apparently, when they issue those evacuation orders, there's an exception for stupid weather broadcasters, because they're all over the place, right? Nobody else is there, but they're all over the place. I'd like to see someday one of those guys doing this. Hi, I'm Bill, and I'm standing out here on the side of a sinkhole. Oh, did somebody put some money in my meter, please? Let's stop that nonsense. A guy got caught in the Central Valley a few months ago. I don't know if you saw this, for stealing beehives. Anyone remember that story? This is a true story. They caught him in a sting operation. Thank you. Groans as good as a laugh. A few years ago, a professor at UCI, who was also a doctor, died at 96. They say he was still seeing patients up to about a week before he died. And I know because I was one of those patients. And I think it was about time for him to go because his memory was shot. I'm telling you, because I went in there and he tried to give me a prostate exam, but he was an eye doctor. Technology is everywhere, isn't it? I mean, you know, we got computers in our pockets and everything. Well, they even have cell phones in prisons. They're not supposed to be in prisons. The state discovered that the prison guards were smuggling cell phones into prisoners several years ago. It's a true story. So they passed a law. If you get caught with a cell phone while you're in prison, you get more prison time. They're already in prison. How's that going to help? I said they ought to do this. You get caught in prison with a cell phone, they ought to let you out, make you sign a 10-year contract with AT&T. That'll teach you. So, and we got self-driving cars coming and all that stuff. But tell me, why is it when you get in an elevator in a 2-story building, you still have to tell it where to go? Shouldn't it know that you're on one floor? As soon as it sees you get in, I guess I ought to go to the other floor. Something's missing there. Needs a firmware upgrade. So anyway, yeah, technology is taking over. Tell you a little bit about myself. I had a lot of trouble dating when I was single. I know this is hard to believe, good-looking guy like me. I didn't want to date girls that were too fat, too skinny, too dumb, redheads for some reason. You know, I had a whole list of things I didn't want to date. I didn't want in a girl I wanted to date. Finally, I figured out there was nobody left. So something had to change. I tried like Bob. This was a long time ago, before the internet and all that stuff. So I tried to pick up girls face to face in bars. That didn't work. I figured out there's too much competition. So I thought, well, where can I go where there won't be so many guys? So I went to a lesbian bar. Yeah, that was a terrible decision. I tried to pick up this woman, I lost out to another woman. That wasn't good for my ego. So then I tried advertising. Back in the 70s, without the internet, they actually had magazines like this, not Game Informer, singles magazines. Does anybody here remember those at all? Unless you're too young. A couple of you, okay. So yeah, these things, they were state of the art. You send in your ad, and like a month later, the magazine would come out, and you'd pick it up, and you'd open up, and you know, you start reading the ads, then you'd swipe left, and you read all the ads, and you say, oh, the other page is better. So then you swipe right. See, the millennials think they invented all this stuff. We were swiping left and right years ago. So I'm now married, believe it or not, for 31 years. I know, it's a miracle. Thank you. It is a miracle. My wife loves to shop. You know, she came home with a dress the other day, and who was it? Doug talked about doing the happy. You were talking about doing the happy thing versus the right thing, right? So yeah, so that's very appropriate. So she says, "Does this dress make me look fat?" I said the right thing, but it didn't leave me happy. I said, "No, the dress doesn't make you look fat. The dress has nothing to do with it." I was right, but I wasn't very happy with her response. So when we got married, the sex was awesome. We were doing it like once a month. It was great. But after a while, of course, it wasn't so good. So we read that 50 Shades of Grey book. So I tried to take control of our relationship. That didn't work. Turns out, to be in control, you have to have lists of things to do. Right? How many ladies here have lists of things to do? That's right, exactly. So my life has lists of things to do. And I never had any list. And she was trying to figure out, how come I have all these lists of things to do, and you don't have any lists? And she finally figured it out. I don't do a damn thing. So now her list has a new item: get a new husband. So, yeah, so we tried some of the things in the book. One of the things we tried, I said, "Hurt me, honey, hurt me." And she did. She grabbed her credit card and ran to Fashion Island. I hurt big time. We were shopping for bedroom furniture once, and I said, "What is that thing?" It was a very ornate-looking pillow with a $200 price tag. And she said, "Well, that's a sham." I said, "Well, I can see that, honey, but what the hell is it?" So, yeah. So, we're terrible cooks, but one night my wife made a fantastic meal, and I was really appreciative. And so I said to her, "Honey, that was such a good meal. You can have anything you want in the bedroom." So now we have a $200 shams. So, anyway, before I go, when you get to a certain age, you start thinking burial or cremation. It's only natural. I mean, it just. But what spurred this even more for me was I got a thing in the mail. I didn't bring it with me, from a company called Smart Cremations. Yeah, this company exists. And inside there's all these reasons why you should sign up for their service. It's affordable. It's It's very clear and easy to understand and all this stuff. And one of the things says that you get travel protection, which I guess means if you're on the road when you die, they'll cremate you and they'll mail your ash home. So, the lady that wrote the first crockpot cookbook died several years ago. And in her will, she asked to be cremated. They say it took 6 to 8 hours on the low setting. Thank you very much. I'm Steve Guentner.
Give it up for Steve Guentner.